About 8 years ago, my husband and I rented a little house from his friend. It was bright pink. I loved it. It was the perfect little starter place for us. We had been married for just a few weeks when we moved in. We both worked the night shift. I worked at a truck stop, and he was an EMT and security guard at a mine nearby. Neither one of us had a regularly scheduled night off. About a month after we moved in, my husband went on a trip to meet his biological father. He had been gone for a week, and because I couldn't get the time off, I stayed home. The first night that he was gone, I went to work like normal and came home at the normal time. When I went to unlock the door, I found the lock was jammed, like someone had tried to open it with something and it broke. I was a little creeped out, but I didn't see anything else out of place, so I used the back door and made a note to call the landlord after I woke up in the afternoon. It slipped my mind to call the landlord, and the next day when I got home, the front door was still jammed. And now, so was the back door. Now I was freaked out, so I called the landlord and my husband. The landlord said he would come over and change the locks on the weekend, which was just a day away. I had a few days off, so I made sure the doors were locked and continued about my night. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to watch a scary movie that evening, so I curled up on the couch with my cat and started yelling at the girl in the movie about what a moron she was for investigating the noise or whatever. Meanwhile, my cat was flipping out and hissing. Someone was at the door. My cat hated everyone but me. She was a mean little bugger. She didn't want anyone else near me at any given time because I belonged to her alone. I panicked a little because I didn't have enough time to go to my room and grab the gun if he did make it in. I was close to the phone, so I called the police to send someone out. They got there quickly, and the officer that responded took my story seriously, despite finding no one in the area. He checked my doors and noted that they were jammed. He also thought that someone had stuck something in them to pick the lock, but didn't use the right tools. I was terrified when they left, but it was too late for me to go to my in-laws, so I locked the doors and slept on the couch. The next morning, my landlord and I went to get some new locks and doorknobs, and the guy at the store asked me about what we were doing with the new doorknobs. I provided some sarcastic response, and as I was paying, he said, "Oh yeah, you live over in the pink house, don't you?" I was severely creeped out, but at the time I assumed he knew my landlord. He didn't. I'm not 100% sure it was him trying to get into my house, because I never saw the person trying to enter. But the place I live in is one of the larger cities in my state, so I'm stumped about how he knew who I was. I drove a nondescript vehicle that was not as unique as my house, so I doubt he could recognize my vehicle as belonging to the pink house. And he definitely wasn't my neighbor. Creepy hardware store guy, whether it was you that night or not, let's never meet again. Thanks for listening, and remember, the most unsettling stories are lost in the ghost towns of our psyche.